So, my name is Catherine County, and I'm going to be discussing certain aspects of my culture. So, some things about me are I was born and raised on Long Island in New York. I'm one of five kids, and I'm a twin. I know that I've been pretty privileged with my upbringing. I didn't face any discrimination growing up. I am a straight white female who was raised Catholic, and I grew up in a primarily white neighborhood. My elementary school was mostly white, and the majority of people were Catholic. But as I got into high school, my school was a lot more mixed with people of all different races and religions, but I was still in the majority. And pretty much all of my teachers throughout my years at school were white. So um, I had privilege with that. And also, I'm extremely happy that I went to the high school I did, where I was exposed to all different types of people from different backgrounds. Because Long Island, it can still be pretty segregated. So it's de facto segregation, but there are still a lot of places that are just completely white or just completely black or stuff like that. And I just personally would not want to live somewhere like that. Or when I'm older, raise my kids somewhere where they're not exposed to different types of people. So I guess in that way, I was privileged also that I got to interact with all different types of people and with all different religions and races. So, when I usually think about my culture, I think about how I'm Irish and Italian American, but I never really thought about white culture. I didn't really think that there really was a thing that is white culture, but it was brought up in this class, so I began to try and think about it. Um, so, lastly, I want to talk about language. So I knew that everyone had an accent, but I had never really thought that everyone was speaking their own dialect of English. I just thought it was pretty much American English or British English or whatever country you're from, pretty much. Um, but it started to make sense for me when we discussed that everyone has their own dialect. Because there are a lot of words that we say for things on Long Island or New York City that people don't say anywhere else. And I looked it up, and sure enough, there is a New York City dialect of English. So my dialect varies lexically, phonologically, and syntactically from what the majority of people speak here at USF. So an example of lexically um, that it's different is like here people say sub for a sandwich that's usually on like a bun or a roll, but in New York we call that a hero. Another example, going for food again, um, for a slice of pizza, where people here like will say cheese or like a lot of other places will say cheese, in New York we say plain or regular, just a plain or regular slice. Um, Phonologically, like the way I pronounce certain things is completely different than a lot of the people here, and I get made fun of by my friends and stuff. But I wouldn't call it linguistic oppression, but I do change the way that I talk when I'm here at USF. So I try to tone down my accent, um, or I say different names for things than I would if I was at home. And then when I go home, people tell me that I talk weird or talk different than I used to, so I can't really win anywhere. Um, but an example of how my dialect is phonologically different are like me saying the words walk or dog, water, orange. So it's just different. An example of how my accent is syntactically different is when someone is standing in a line. Uh, Most people will say he's standing in line, but my dialect says he's standing on line. So it's just different. Me being here. Um, but it's nice. So this has been a video about my culture.
Created using Powtoon.